Huh?
As in they're gay?
It seems to be an enormous. I gotta be careful what I say here.
Chocolate City?
Well, we know it's very black. It's
Yeah.
a very black city.
Yeah.
But it seems when you walk around the streets of Atlanta, you go, "Oh my God!" Like so many of like guys with wives, you go, "Oh, buddy, you're not even close. Like you're not even close to straight. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of gay.
Fly out of the closet.
Well, Atlanta,
be you. Hey man, you be you, man.
Yeah.
You be you.
Atlanta,
You be you,
Savannah.
man.
There are certain pockets
You
in the
be
South.
you.
Yeah.
Hey man. Hey, I'm gonna be me. You be you.
Yeah. Well, in Atlanta and the South was where the certain parts of New Orleans, Savannah, Atlanta. Historically, when you were different, you went to those cities. So
Well,
there
same
was,
with
there was
LA
a,
and
it
New
was
York.
kind of like it was kind of like you were safe in those cities. You didn't go out in the outskirts, you'd get killed, but you could be safe in the certain enclaves where you were accepted to be different and stuff. But one of the cool things about Atlanta is there's been I think a large black immigration migration down from the north because there were job opportunities. So what you do is you go to a hotel and there are all these professional black people, like people coming up in Mercedes and suits, and you don't see that in LA, man. I'm sorry, you don't
right.
see that in a lot of cities. It's a segregated city where I always feel like black people are a permanent underclass, second class citizens. Well, you can say what you want. It's what I see. And then you go down to Atlanta and you got these like everything's being run by black people. Like the set I was on, it's a very refreshing thing, to be honest with you. I was like, this is pretty wild. It's very sad that's a novelty. That's a sad state of affairs in 2012 in America, but it's the truth. But Atlanta is a city that works, and you see nothing but professional black people. It's pretty wild.
I can second what you're saying, that I've been on black sets, many.
Yeah.
All black sets.
Yeah, which was as well.
Yeah, and I've made a good living for a while being the white guy in black movies.
Yeah.
Where you walk in and go, "Hey, come on, guys," and then somebody rubs mustard on your face and kicks you in the ass, and you go downstairs and go, "I'm sorry." And it is. You're right. And for the listener in the flyover states, what Bryan's saying, that's a big point you're making. Is like, it's an entire city where it's filled with black entrepreneurs. Where in LA, the only black entrepreneurs you see in your everyday life as a white guy is at the newsstand, and it's the cover of Black Entrepreneur magazine.
It's so true, dude. That's exactly right, and that's the bummer. And then you go down to Atlanta and you go, look at this. It's and being on a set and an all black set, you got all these professionals, and I'm acting as I'm talking. I'm like acting like that's like I'm acting like, and they're all these professional black people. Yeah. That's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, and there's something very wrong. It's a problem that I think the black community talks about and is addressing. There's a growing black middle class, from what I understand. I'm not a social scientist, but from what I've read, but it was very encouraging and very refreshing, and it was just a good time. And
it is sad. Like, think of how sad it must be to a black person. And the mind trip that is, like, if you're a black guy in LA and you own a business, you pull up in a Mercedes and everybody thinks he's probably a drug dealer.
That's right.
And then you go to Atlanta.
Or an athlete or a rapper.
Yeah, all black entrepreneurs all the time.
Right.
Right. It is, and it's weird that Atlanta has become that. It seems random.
Yeah.
I don't know why Atlanta is the one.
Well, from what I understand,
you know
what
why?
I've read.
No, when you go back in time and you look at all those Atlanta Hawks games where Dominique Wilkins was dropping in 55 points a night and no one was there, because they were all working.
That's a good.
They were all at work,
funny.
becoming black entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And the white people were in the upper deck.
Yeah, that's.
But if you look at the Omni and what is it, the Phillips Arena now? You can't give tickets to a Hawks game away because everybody's working.
Yeah, everybody's working. Well, there it is.
Matt, what was the name of the movie?
Ride Along.
Ride Along.
It's gonna be
Fishburne
funny.
and Cube. I did Are We There Yet? With
It was
Ice
actually
Cube.
Kevin Hart plays I don't want to say too much about the movie, but he plays
Why?
He plays Cube's brother-in-law, and he wants to be a cop.
Well,
and
don't
Cube
spoil
is
it
this
for me.
hard-ass cop. It's pretty funny.
Cube's a hard-ass cop?
It's really funny,
Is he
man.
taking from his Coors Light commercials? He's just feeding from that character? Or he's the coldest guy on earth?
No, he's just a tough guy.
His real name, as I taught you,
Yeah.
is what?
Sean Jackson?
O'Shea.
O'Shea Jackson.
O''Shea.
O'Shea.
Jackson.
A good Irish name.
And he went to
the
high
first thing I
school.
think
And
of.
he made very famous straight out of Compton. Crazy motherfucker called Ice Cube.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Went to Taft High in the San Fernando Valley.
I didn't know that.
So, for those of you listening, I hate to burst your bubble, straight out of the valley.
Is that right?
Crazy motherfucker named O'Shea.
Well, you know, he's a very, that guy has been writing since he was 14, and he's a thinker. You're around that guy. First of all, he just sits and watches everything. He takes care of everybody on the set, takes care of you. He's a real good guy, but he's always thinking, always watching, and he doesn't go out. I looked at him, I go, let's go out to dinner. You know, come out with me. We're all going out. Yeah, I'll try to do that. I said, you don't go out. He goes, no, I don't go out. He just works. He goes, I like to stay focused on what I'm doing. He sits. He goes from the set to his trailer. He's got his guy, brother Ron, is a great guy, and then he's got two other guys who grew up with his family, and they stick together. And he stays focused on the job at hand. That's it. There's no playing around. He loves to laugh, loves to be silly, but there's a job to be done, and he stays out of trouble. He's always been that way. If you ever hear about Ice Cube in the tabloids, he's been married for 20 years. He's got 4 kids.
He's so successful, he should live in Atlanta.
Well, that's
tiny circles. You keep looping them around. It doesn't have to be a 40-minute callback.
The callback, dude.
You circle around.
You're a professional.
Here's the thing: when I worked with him, Are We There Yet? I worked 4 days. It was great. Went up to Vancouver, had a good time. And he was super nice, but it was one of those things where you go like, okay, we have to wrap Ice Cube at noon.
Right.
So we're going to push the call to 5 a.m. Ice Cube can only work until noon because he needs to fly on the private jet to do the Tonight Show. And then after the Tonight Show, he has to come back to Vancouver. After the Tonight Show, he flies to New York, and he's going to do like Regis and Kelly, and then he's going to fly back, and he'll work that night. Like 8 o'clock at night.
That's the thing about being that famous.
And he never stops.
No, that's the thing about being that famous is
fame. And he's high.
Yeah, fame is
boring. I'm like, how can you smoke grass on that? Or is that the only way to accomplish that schedule is to be so blazed out that you're like, just put me on a plane and I'll fall asleep for
I would
20
imagine
minutes.
It's very boring. What think about that, like you're in a plane, that sucks, and a private jet's smaller, so it actually is not in any way a place you want to be. On top of the fact that you then go and do an interview, which means you put makeup on, you go answer the same questions. Then you come back to the set. They always talk about being a celebrity can be mind-numbingly boring because you're...
Being in a band more so too, right?
Oh, man, you're on a bus all the time.
With the same 4 guys.
And singing the same songs over and over
and
again.
The same stupid fans going, sing that one! You're like,
Keep it.
Obviously, we're going to sing that one. That's why we're here, stupid.
You can keep. That's like Doug Stanhope's joke where he just keeps repeating the same line. He goes, and then I woke up as if I were on fire. And then I woke up as if I were on fire. And then I woke up as though I were on fire. Sorry, I just want to repeat my punchline because that's what songs are like. You just keep singing the same verse over and over again.
You got a good
point. In case
point.
Anybody thinks that writing and singing songs are harder than doing stand-up. That wasn't exactly I'm paraphrasing what he said. I don't remember what he said, but
stand-up, like, you kind of, everything I like, he kind of takes the piss out and bums me out over it. I'm like, I really love music. You shouldn't love music. Here's why. You know what? I respect my elderly. The elderly suck. Here's why. It's like, stand-up, take it easy.
I don't know him. I've never met him. But he is rather cynical. I can't live in that world. I'm not interested.
You ever see Meeting People Is Easy by Radiohead? Their documentary. No. Grant Gee made a documentary of Radiohead and followed them on the road for almost 2 years. And it's like, it's so claustrophobic. You'll love it. It's so claustrophobic to watch. And it's like air conditioning units in hotels and like the outside of a hotel, the valet of a hotel. Yep. And then you just see like Tom York and 3 guys, and it's always like this mix and match. Like we got 2 guys from Radiohead, but it's never the same. Them doing a live Skype from Tokyo. They're in Tokyo, but the VMAs are in LA, and like, thanks for voting for us. We appreciate it. And then as the movie goes on, it shows them on stage, and then it'll say in the upper right hand corner, it'll say Amsterdam, show 88.
Wow.
And then it shows them, it'll say Prague, show 89. It's the very next night, and then there's like 2 days off. All interviews, and they show all the same questions, and you just see these guys descend into madness.
Of course.
Whereas about a year in, it'll say Tokyo, show 110, and then they have to fly to some other town in Japan, and they're on a private jet, 5 guys. 1 guy's holding like a Coors, like yellow.
No wonder you descend into drugs. I'd have to.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I would have to really get into drugs.
I can't do that.
But no one's there. It's a tiny jet, a private jet, and they're all like kind of shoulder to shoulder. They're all just staring straight ahead. They've died. They died in Prague. They died long ago.
Oh my God!
And
that's a great band. I mean, talk about
a
unique band.
Just bam! And then you know what? We don't want to play Creep. We hate Creep. But then when you go, that's the thing with a band. You got to keep banging out that hit, and you hate doing that hit, and you hate the fact that every time you go to a theater, people show up going, "He better do Creep. He better play Creep." And like it's like when I hit the stage and somebody yells, "Do Walkin'," it's like, I just got here. What do you think? I'm going to leave it out?
Oh my God! First of all, for me though, I can't even do my old. I always have to change up. I'm doing a totally new hour and 10 minutes.
So that's why you want to go see Bryan Callen.
Yeah. Yes. And at the Punchline.
San Francisco on the 18th of January.
16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. I'll be there. Bring your seatbelt. I'll be bringing the heat. By that I mean I'll be doing stand up. Let's turn this thing to funny, shall we? Yeah, I had a thought.
Guys, the listeners don't have a vision. You know what? That moment alone made me think we should start streaming this podcast because Bryan did that whole thing and just looked at me like, I'm completely empty. I need you to fill in the space right now. On the way here,
and you did
with that cackle. On the way here, me and Maddie were. We got to go back to Ice Cube real quick.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Sorry about that. He had his he's got that crazy ass trailer with the recording studio in it. Yes. Did he have that with you guys?
I didn't see it. I was never in his trailer. I was in Kevin Hart's trailer a lot.
I just knocked and invite myself in.
What's that?
I just knocked and invited myself in. So what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, you're not gonna do that.
It's this huge double-decker trailer with a bed. It's like you could live there easily.
Yes.
A kitchen. And then there's a recording studio in one quarter of the place is like a full Dr. Dre operating board for a producer and a soundproof glass recording studio. And there's beautiful, beautiful Corinthian leather seats that say WS. It's stitched on the seats. Like you would see seats that nice in a Ferrari.
What is WS?
And I go like this. I go, man, this is so tight, bro. And he goes, thanks, man. I go, West Side. I love it. He goes, nah, man, I bought this off Will Smith. I gave him he could have been like, that's right. West Side?
I bought this off Will Smith.
He bought it off Will Smith. Everything's at WS. I go, well, you better start.
Back when Will Smith was rapping. Hey, what happened to those days, huh? When is he going to get back to the booth?
Yeah, Will Smith, get in there. Parents just don't understand. On the way here, we were starving hungry because it's early for everybody. We're doing this early. The sun has not come up yet. And Matty Boy and I are driving down to Mescal Canyon, and there's one of those Mexican lunch trucks. Yeah. And I go, wow, you know what? I just passed that truck, and I went, oh. And he goes, I did too. So I bang a U-turn. We go up there. There's 2 10-year-old girls dressed as Santa Claus. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Great,
Yeah.
What? Holding beers? You got to keep a body on him. He'll fill it up from outside. If he's on the 3-point arc, you just keep an eye out.
I like it.
He's good.
I like it.
He's a sniper.
I like that.
Holding
like that
beers.
Sports metaphor.
2 10-year-old girls in Santa suits holding beers. And then the guy's like, what do you want, man? What do you want? And I just see someone handing someone else this thing of soup. This styrofoam container. He goes, you want some pololito? I don't know what it's called. I'm like, yeah. But you don't want to be the ugly American what's in it? What is it?
Are there onions in it?
I don't want onions. They
don't
make
want
me gassy.
Chipotle.
Hey, do you guys have real Mexican food like Taco Bell? Could you make Nacho Supreme?
That's so annoying.
Do you guys have gorditas?
What?
I like gorditas.
Do you have did you say gorditas?
Yeah.
Do you have any gorditas?
Do you guys have any gorditas?
Because I don't want to get gordo.
OMG, they're selling V8 right here on ice. Where do you get all your ice from?
Oh my God, it's not super gross though.
So I'm like, hey man, I go, wow, that looks good, and I am leading the guy into telling me what it is, so I can act like I know what the hell I'm talking about. He goes, what was it called? Polito or Paulino?
By the way, because the first podcast we did, we talked about nutrition. I got lots of tweets about it.
Lentils.
Yes.
A lot of lentils, a lot of
you've
brown
lost
rice.
a lot of weight.
Since our podcast, I've lost 14 pounds.
Look, let's break your body down for a second. A couple people don't know this. You got your heavy in the shoulders.
How?
You've got broad shoulders.
All right, now you're talking.
Fairly big back. You do put weight. You keep weight on in your
stomach
midsection.
only.
However, I'm looking at your legs and your calves. I'm not mad at the natural leg development. And by the way, you've got what I would call a high insertion ass. All right. You've got a high insertion ass. In a leotard, you look every bit the dancer or the sprinter. And I'm going to go with probably 50% maybe even a little more fast twitch muscles to slow twitch, red twitch to. So that makes you a perfect combination for our Navy SEAL program. Why? Because if you're all fast twitch muscle, you sink. And you're not built for endurance.
You need aerobic to go with the anaerobic.
You need a combination. I don't know how many times I have to tell you people. If you want to join my outfit, I need a combination of red and